All right. Guess we're doing this. Starting off fresh. Let's go. This is the moment my life changed and why I had to rebuild from the ground up. So, you might have wondered whatever happened to my podcast, the famous Unfuck Yourself. We had so many great times, conversations, many downloads. It was just doing amazing. And quite frankly, I'm not going to lie, it hurt to shut everything down, but listen to me. There was a purpose and reason why I had to do that. And I'm going to keep this very raw and transparent because it's going to tie it into everything that's coming up, what I'm excited for. And as you can see, my full transformation from where I started to where I'm at now. This episode's going to be not only the first episode for my new podcast, the Peña Project, but it's also going to be the origin story, the meaning behind everything I'm doing, the full hard reset. And reset, right? What a word. What exactly does it mean to reset? And I'm going to explain how all this ties up and how this journey has really taught me a lot about truly resetting, truly hitting that button in a way that impacts you in a way you probably never thought of. So if you've been following me closely, you know there's been a lot of changes. Obviously, my physique has been one of them. Some of you might notice I've been cycling a lot more than expected or what I ever did before. And now tackling into some things that I never might have done before. Endurance sports, running, swimming, an Ironman. It's funny because I saw a documentary on YouTube way back. I think it was like 2015, and it was the Kona Full Ironman, and it was the story about this veteran who had been, 100% disabled, Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that, and this guy finishes this, and I remember seeing it and telling myself that's something I could never do. There's no way I would ever be able to do that. Obviously, I was overweight and just the thought of completing something as challenging, and by far I mean challenging because I have never been an athlete to say I love running or I love enduring on any type of sport that didn't require a time frame, a team participation, or anything in that sort of nature. I played soccer. I was really good at it, but again, you had other members that would help you achieve whatever that goal was, whether assisting, score a goal, block a goal, whatever it was, sweep the forward. There was always something there that would help you. So for me to think of taking on a crazy challenge like this, it was always like I admire it. I applaud people that do it. That's not going to be me. And part of it might have been the mindset, right? And this is something that we all sort of dive into and speak to about because we're not taught to think that way. We are taught to have limits. And the Marine Corps opened that up that no, you can push a little bit more. You can push a little bit further. However, there's always that comfort stop, that comfort of, all right, I did it. I achieved it. That's it. I'm not going to push anymore. So having that in the back of my mind, I admire people that did it. I applaud them. Little did I know that there's a crazier world out there with all these insane endurance races. You got, Unbound 200 cycling. You have, Bab Water. Then you have David Goggins coming out doing these crazy stuff. You got Litville 100. And I just found all this out just recently, maybe about a year ago. But before that, this was non-existing to my head. The only sport I ever knew of something crazy was an Ironman. But before we start getting into all that, how did this all come about? How did this all change? And how did I just transform? And I have to say it all started 2019. 2019 was a date for me that sort of hit something. This was prior to COVID. I had already had these sort of changes in my way of thinking since 2017, the way I saw business, the way I approach things, but it wasn't fully understanding the whole concept of it. And in 2019, something sort of hit. And right when that happened, it's the first time that try to stop drinking. And some of you guys might know the story from my prior podcast when I said I tried 75 hard. And I did 75 hard with the intention of, I want to see what this feels. I knew I had a problem internally. I did not want to accept it. As most alcoholics, we don't, or anybody with an addiction, we don't want to ask for help. We don't want to fear the rejection, the what are people going to say about us? And that's part of the problem, right? We're too busy concerned of what other things that we put aside our true help, what we truly need. So I do 75 hard. I did pretty good. I went the whole 75 days without drinking. I did lose some weight. However, I made sure that it finished on a Friday, so I purposely planned a trip to Rosarito, Mexico, where we used to always, take a quick little trip at the Rosarito Beach Hotel. And once that finished, it was like midnight that Friday that the 75-day finished. I was so excited. We packed up, left early. We got to the hotel. It was maybe like 11, not even noon. I know that for a fact because they always hooked me up with check-in. So I was able to get there early. We had the tacos. Get there. The bartender knows me, serves me 2 Michelada-sized cups full of Bacardi rum and Coke. And I gulped them and finished them before I even got to the lobby because that's how crazy I was. And in my head, I'm celebrating the fact that I finished this 75 hard task. That was the first initial issue of me understanding that maybe there's something wrong because that weekend I got very sick. I drank like a crazy person, by the way. And oh man, we're hearing stuff. That's probably the ghost. I don't even know what that was. But I mean, I drank like a crazy person that day. And when I got back on Monday, I couldn't function. My stomach wasn't feeling good. And this is where I started realizing I was having internal issues. Not internal issues just spiritually, which I was having. I was broke-minded, depression, PTSD, still recovering from a lot of stuff from, the war and a lot of traumas that I still hadn't uncovered yet that I'm still trying to figure out and using alcohol as a way to substitute this. Additionally, pain medicine. I never went fully crazy on pain pills, but I would take them regularly. In fact, I would look forward to go to the VA because the VA was pretty good at just giving you pills to test. So I was doing sleeping pills. I was mixing a bunch of stuff. And so when I started having these stomach issues, these pains, I sort of ignored it and I just figured it's probably just the pills. When my blood work came back just a couple months after, I had high cholesterol. My liver was pretty bad. I remember the doctor saying it was something around like stage 2 pre-fibrosis or fibrosis, something like that. Your kidney level, your liver levels should be under a certain amount, and I was like at 170 or something like that. Once you start hitting over like the 190 or 200, you're basically like severe liver problem. My stomach had issues. I had all these physical, just problems that I was putting aside because I did not want to face the reality of what I was going to. Not only that, I was now categorized as pre-diabetic. I was technically considered obese because I was 260 pounds. And so I went all of 2020, because we all know what happened in 2020, just kind of like processing everything. I would stop drinking and I would re-drink. I would stop drinking and re-drink. And it was never really anything intentional. I would accomplish 3 months. The furthest I went was a year without drinking, but I always found a way to sort of reintroduce it back as a way of, oh, I'm cool now, right? Like I could socially drink. I could now do this. And the reason why I'm explaining this deep is because it all sort of falls back to a bigger picture. And I really wanted to regroup, rechange, and find a way to restructure this podcast. So everybody that listens has a full understanding of how this all turned out, because it was quite remarkable once I did realize what I had and what I did. And I am the most healthiest I have ever been in my life, the most fittest I ever been in my life. And it was all because of that. And so when I went through this whole process, and my father passes away in 2022, this is the last time that I had a drink, and I had gone without drinking prior to that. When my dad did pass away, I did have, uh, I fell off the boat, started drinking. It was mostly because of the void, my father passing, and it got pretty bad. And that's when that stomach ache came back again. And this time I couldn't explain it. It was a weird sort of like pinch, like if you ever been punched in the stomach, but mixed with like when you run and you get that pain on the side, and then you dizziness and you want to vomit and throw up. I mean, it's the worst. You want to go to the bathroom. It was a weird pain sensation. I do not wish it on anybody. I felt like everything inside was moving, and this pain lasted for a good maybe 5, 10 minutes. I remember driving and just holding myself, and I don't know if I needed to go to the bathroom, if I needed to take a shit, or if I needed to throw up, or what the hell. I mean, it was just the most craziest feeling ever. And when I went to the VA and they did further tests, they checked my stool sample, stomach, blood work, everything. The doctor came back and basically said, I'm going to tell you this straight. If you continue doing whatever you're doing, you're probably not going to be around in 6 months. That, with the fact that I had just been drinking prior to the doctor telling me this, and I was in a bad position at the time. My wife was about to leave me. She had walked away with the kids. They were staying in my in laws. We had basically lost our place where we were at in LA. And I show up because after the doctor said that, that wasn't enough for me to just kind of make the decision. I still went out because we were celebrating our anniversary of invading Iraq with my unit. So we went to this bar in Seal Beach, and I drank. I still drank. Even after all that, even after the doctor telling me that, I'm processing this in the back of my head. But the solitary, that void, that emptiness inside, that sort of not wanting to be here came back. And a lot of it had to do with whatever was going on with my dad. Obviously, the position I was with my wife. I was about to lose everything in the business. I think our counts went down to a couple of just $1,000, and that's all. I mean, I was literally reliving whatever I experienced in 2008 when I was homeless and I tried to commit suicide again, something that I thought would never happen again because I had hit the pinnacle of success. I had gotten to that top level, top 1% real estate agent, crushing it, killing it, making all this money. Why is this still happening to me? Why am I still going through this process? And I drank. I drove home that day and I cried so hard. I mean, I was yearning for help, but I did not know who to call. And I had many people to call. Trust me. I mean, even people that were me there, fellow veterans that walked me. I so badly wanted to ask for help, but I couldn't. The ego, the pride, the sense of, judgment, the sense of failure, the sense of feeling like, I was seen here, now I'm here again. How does that look? And I remember just letting everything out as I drove back home. And when I got to where we're staying at, my wife, my kids are sleeping in this detached sort of unit in a garage in an inflatable bed. And by the way, I have never shared this, guys. I mean, only a few people know about this. And I see them there, and my twins had been born already. My daughter's there, my son, and it just hit me. It just hit me. I cannot explain it. It just hits me so hard. It's like if my dad came out of nowhere and just smacked the shit out of me and said, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you seriously gonna let everything go? Are you seriously gonna let go of your family? If you wanna talk about failure, we're not talking about failure by option. This is failure by choice. And I remember I started throwing up like crazy, like just throwing up everywhere. And I just kind of looked at myself through like the glass of the window, and I said, you need to wake up. You need to truly wake up. And I did. That night, I don't think I slept anything. Got up early in the morning, left. This was 2022, guys. So very recent. And I tackle on this new mission of trying to figure out what it was. What is it? What's my purpose here? What do I have to do? And through that process, obviously, here comes the choice of sacrifice, right? Because we all make these issues or these options, but we easily blame and become in that victim mentality versus no, man, let's take accountability and take action. And soon enough, I was able to sell enough that in 30 days I had enough so we could get out of there and obviously be where we're at now. And that was 3 years ago. And since 3 years, I haven't touched 1 ounce of alcohol. That completely changed everything. Never had the urge. But more than anything, and forget about the alcohol part, it turned on a beast inside of me. It turned on something that had just been waiting to come out, and I cannot explain it, but once it did, I went on this whole spiritual journey on just truly find fulfillment, purpose. What is it? I hire a mentor, Francisco Jara, who's been on the podcast, great guy, and this guy just opened up a bunch of stuff and introduced me to new ways of thinking, of seeing nutrition and seeing fitness, not as a way to just look jacked and be ripped, but as a way to be functional, performance. Like, how can you lead? How can you perform if you're out of shape? How can you be a leader? How can you defend? How can you be a protector of your family if you're fat and you can't even run? What if you had to go, try to save your kid and you had to run and you can't even do that? Like, I mean, come on, man. Let's just go back to the basics, and everything just came around this. And I started this journey now. It's changing the way I ate, the way I performed, doing things with intention. Everything was rooted now with a whole different purpose. It wasn't I want to look good and jack to impress people and get girls or this because this is the image society wants me to. It was more of I want to fulfill this so I could be a leader, so I could be able to perform and be there and show my kids and be a protector. Mindset shifts and the Given Business Soul journey through looking at my business in a different perspective, not as a way of I need to sell just to accommodate and achieve all these acclimates and medals and awards and all the stuff that I always did it for, because every time I did that, there was always that sense of void and not fulfilled. But now looking as, what, this is going to be a leverage. I'm using real estate to leverage me in order to get to where I want to be. That's going to fulfill me purpose, right? And I love this. I love sharing stories. I love helping others, influencing others. And so why can I not leverage real estate to get me there? And once I started doing that, everything just shifted. Collaborations, the relationships, the networks, the tribe, the people you hang around with, not only in the gym, but in work and the people that you attract. Everything has been a huge blessing with those simple mindsets. But most importantly, the energy and the people that have showed up, that truly support you, that truly want to see you win, that have been there for you, that have opened up gates and visions that you're going to explore into journeys that you're going to be like, wow. And during that process, guys, I mean, I done stem cells, I done PRP, I done microdosing, everything to start healing this whole process. And what a journey has it been, because I do believe that we are all here for one reason, and it's up to us to accept that reason, to see it, and to take on that mission. Or do you still continue to play this game, in which is the let's play the society game, the what social media expects you to be and to do, and you're never gonna be happy. But I'm gonna tell you right now, once you free from that, it's such a blessing. It changes your perspective on everything. It changes your life. It cleanses you spiritually wise. I became closer with God, and I had to detach from a lot of things. This is why I let go of the podcast, because I wanted to ensure that whatever I put out was the most rawest, real, people that I bring in now to the podcast. Not that I haven't brought real people before, but the questions, I want to help you feel what I'm feeling. And although I'm still going through a journey, it feels freaking amazing. It feels great to have this big load taken off you and to start something new. And with that, now it's this new chapter of not only healing, but helping my family, helping them heal as well. My son has gone through his journey. I feel our relationship is getting much better. The relationship with my wife. I've been blessed to meet certain individuals that have stand by me and now guiding me through new processes and new frameworks, and to see things differently. In the fitness sector, I'm taking on more challenges. If you guys have seen, I had a left knee surgery in September of 2024. I started communicating with ChatGPT in regards to rehab. It suggested cycling because the VA wouldn't approve my VA at the moment. Picked up a bike, got hooked, and I've been cycling, racing, insane, results just on the racing, crit racing, road racing. And I started seeking these crazy challenges. And just like I mentioned before, things that I had never heard of, that vision of seeing that Ironman once and seeing that veteran cross that line came back up. And now I am signed up for not one, but two half Ironman. So I'm doing Ironman 70.3 El Salvador in February, which I'm excited about because I am from El Salvador and that's the first time it's being done there. And then we're doing Oceanside 70.3 in March, which I'm also pumped about. And that's the one that I'm really trying to push out, try to get a sub 5 on that, go hard, let's finish strong. And then the one I'm most pumped about and so excited about is the Unbound, Lifetime Unbound Gravel 200-mile gravel race. Is considered one of the hardest races. In fact, if we put them all in order, it would probably be Unbound 200. Actually, it's not even probably, it is. Unbound 200 is harder than a full Ironman because of the terrain, the unpredictable weather, the distance. You have no aid, no help. It's all self done. And so I'm very pumped for that. And if everything goes well and God permits, I'm going to shoot for a full Ironman in October 2026. Now, you might say, JP, this is crazy. What are you doing? But this has been my new passion. This has been my new, that high. Before it was alcohol, now it's this. I want to endure fitness. I want to influence others that although you have disabilities and although you have issues, and for all you guys to know, I am 100% disabled due to my accident in Iraq, I do still have pain. I still have to deal with certain things, but guess what? We're still going to push through it. We're still going to make it happen. This is to show that the mental, your brain, the ability to push through certain things is a lot more powerful than what you think. And this is the best way to do it. Be an example. And not only to influence others, but to fulfill me. It makes me feel good. And all of this is going to lead to one big race that I'm shooting for in 2027. And I'm very pumped for this. And this is the first time you're going to hear it. I haven't shared it with anybody, just two people actually, my coach and Nate Boyer. So shout out to Nate because he actually has done this race, and my coach as well. And that's Leadville 100 full race. And that's what I'm shooting for 2027. So everything I'm doing is in preparation for that. And if you don't know, Leadville 100 race is a basically 100-mile run race, insane elevation. I think it's 12,000 feet. You go through the morning, noon, evening, night. You basically have 30 hours to finish this race. And I am so pumped. So the reason why I wanted to share all this is to keep it raw, real, this new journey, and to basically welcome you to what the Peña Project is going to be all about. It's not just real estate. It's not just about storytelling and sharing other stories, but it's about influencing, impacting, and pushing you to go that extra mile, that extra step, that extra whatever it is to truly find whatever your purpose is. So, make sure you subscribe, comment below, let me know your thoughts. What else would you want to see in the podcast? We're planning to launch in a week from now. I will introduce the next guest there. And yes, it will be visual as well as a listening podcast. So yeah, guys, this is it. I'm pumped. I'm excited. This is a new journey. And from the previous old 260-pound JP to the now 174, 12% body fat JP. Can't wait to share more with you guys, and let's go. Whew.